Hey, how's it going, guys? All in community. Welcome back. Let me put this down real quick. You're okay. Don't worry about it. So today we have a special treat for you. We have one of the youngest CEOs that I know, 17-year-old Jacob Blank, and we're going to get into his story most of the day today. But, I want you guys to focus. This is why it's a treat, because this lets you guys know that age is not an excuse.
That's right.
Right. And we're gonna go into that really deeply. First and foremost, let me just introduce myself. My name is Carlos Reyes. I am one of the three founders of All In Entrepreneurs. I'm a serial entrepreneur here out of Phoenix, Arizona, along with my business partner here.
My name is Sal Shakir, guys. I'm a serial entrepreneur myself as well, along with my wonderful business partners over here. And third person is
Saenz, guys. Welcome to episode 35. 35 straight weeks. And again, Saenz, 22-year-old real estate entrepreneur. Started at the age of 18, now 22. And in this podcast, I just wish I started at Jacob's age.
So he has you beat.
He has me beat, yeah. So
Hey, guys, I'm 17 years old. I'm a real estate entrepreneur with a 7-figure business running. So
amazing.
This is insane, by the way. Questions are already going. Philip Johnson says 17 years old. Wow.
I think
Right?
it's a kick in the butt even for me.
It's
It's definitely
God, can you imagine, like, if you were in this situation here, right, at 17 years old?
I don't think I can imagine it because it would be like surreal to imagine.
like, what were you doing at 17?
You were probably in high school.
I was
yeah.
working in high school. I was working for the man though. I was not an entrepreneur.
Right.
I was thinking to be an entrepreneur in the future, but I wasn't living it right there and then. So
You didn't know this whole world that Jacob now knows.
no, oh God.
I was working too, but then it got to another level. So
See, you're surrounded by amazing people, and definitely.
Hey, Dave. By the way, Dave says, let's see those PLs. I'll tell you this much. I don't know if you knew this, Dave, but, Grant Cardone has been on this podcast. Charlie Rocket has been on this podcast. We only bring serious people on this podcast. So we do we vet. This isn't one of those podcasts where maybe the podcast you guys are used to watching where it's a bunch of fluff. His dad is right there. His dad is here. And this is actually one of the guys that we personally mentor. So we know this guy's business and numbers inside out. We know how many deals he has on the board. We know how many people work for him. We know what his operation looks like. So if that doesn't answer your questions, again, I'm not going to make his dad go home or pull something up on his phone just to please you, brother. So, if you can't take his dad, his word for it, our word for it, you definitely don't have to follow this young entrepreneur here. But with that being said, I'll just say this much. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? And to further answer that question, the first time we asked this man to be on this podcast, he didn't want to be on this podcast yet because he felt that he wasn't where he needed to be at that time. So if that doesn't answer that question, I don't know what will. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the first time we asked you to be on this podcast, because we already saw you rocking and rolling. We're like, Jesus, this guy's 17, right?
So I about 3-4 months ago I said in 6 months I'm gonna be on the podcast. Right now it's about 4 months since I said that, since I manifested that, and so I thought I wasn't ready because I said 6 months. So I was like, I should do it once I really have way more deals under my belt. But I closed a $30,000 deal today in about an hour. I have a $19,000 deal closing. Yesterday just signed a $15,000 deal.
That's amazing.
So now things are really coming together.
And you just closed a deal like a week and a half ago for $30,000 too. So
30.
like you're already rocking and rolling.
Today's 19. The 9th is another 15.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch more under contract. So it's time.
That's
I
amazing.
feel that it's time now.
That's respectable, right?
Absolutely.
And you know what's crazy? I wanna actually commend you for that, because you're not the first person. My man Keith Everett.
Yep.
He was supposed to speak at Momentum.
They can't hear things.
Guys, if you guys can't hear, can you refresh? Because other people, is the sound? Can you guys hear us? There's 87 people on the podcast. I can hear fine. That means that you have a something going on your end. Just try to refresh it. But the first time, do you know who Keith Everett is?
Yeah.
He's out of Alabama. He runs a 7-figure 7-figure. You can ask him for his financials if you want, right? He runs a 7-figure operation out of Alabama. He operates in 3 different states. The first time we asked him to speak at Momentum, he said, you know what? I'm sorry, brother, but I can't do it right now. I was like, what? What's going on, right? You know what? We're suffering from a lot of turmoil in our company, and I just don't feel it's right to go out there and try to serve this energy and to people if I'm not doing what I need to do at this moment. And that was very respectable. Right. Now the guy came down with over 40 deals on the board and et cetera, and just a massive team. And he came down and spoke at the Momentum that just happened.
And he crushed it.
And he absolutely crushed it.
Yes, sir.
So that mindset as a 17-year-old, this is a 27-year-old, guy that's been through a lot. I mean, did you ever see his podcast?
Yeah, and I actually used one of his recordings for training because he's good.
He's really good.
He's ridiculous, right? So that mindset, I have to commend that mindset, man, that you have that mindset at 17. Like, you know what? No, I don't feel like I deserve to be on that podcast quite yet.
Got to put the work in first.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, Grant Cardone has sat on this seat. Charlie Rocket has sat in this seat.
There's a reason I'm here. That's all I got to say.
So
there you go.
If that doesn't edify him enough, let's get to the questions.
Guys, so I think everybody wants to know where, like Jacob, where'd you grow up? Where did it start? How'd you grow up? And how'd you get to this point?
So I grew up in Cave Creek, Arizona. Since I was 11, my dad's been doing flips, and he's been in real estate since 2004 as a realtor and a broker. But he started doing flips around when I was 11, so I went to all his flips, and he taught me all the construction side of stuff and everything that goes into it, whether it's dealing with contractors.
You were 11?
Everything. Yeah,
Wow.
11. I mean, I wasn't so into it when I was 11. I was, like, moving rock and stuff. But
But you were still there.
yeah, but I was still there, so I saw how it went. And then once I got 16 and a half, my dad told me to put $5,000 in on this deal that he had and try to double my money doing the work with him.
As a 16-year-old, how did you even save up $5,000?
Okay, that's
because most people can't.
Too. Yeah. So, like Sal, when he was young, he never spent money on unnecessary things. When his friends would go to the gas station and buy sodas and whatever. Same for me. I don't need a soda. I can just drink water that's free. I don't need
that's
that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I can put money into other things. Like I saved my money, invested into a camera. I always saved to invest in something that could make me more money or teach me something or gain my knowledge in some way. So, and then
So let me. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want you to focus on that. When you said you were saving, because a lot of people think about saving, they just because more is better. Were you saving just more is better, or were you saving to invest it in the future?
Saving to invest, also save for when I was younger, I didn't always think about investing but I always wanted to save for something that was worth it to buy.
What were you doing to generate money at the time?
To generate money, the app OfferUp.
Yeah.
So anything we weren't using, I'd sell on OfferUp. And like garage sales with my mom, I'd set up my whole store and I'd wake up super early and sell anything I could, collect $200, save it every year. And then by the time I'm older, I have good amount of money, $5,000 to invest in a piece of property. So that's pretty much what I did. Why would I spend money on 100 Gatorades when I could get a camera instead of 100 Gatorades,
Amazing.
What was the purpose for this camera?
The camera, that's one of my hobbies, photography, film, cinematography. And it's kind of cool now because I can use that with this to like document myself.
I've seen you
your
produce.
journey.
Yeah.
I've been watching some of your stuff,
So
and it's pretty cool.
It's cool how like both worlds collided.
Absolutely, real estate and the success you can document all that
Right.
with your passion.
Right. So
That's amazing.
it's awesome.
That is actually. I think all 3 of us here are like film. What do you
Film
call it?
junkies.
Film junkies.
Oh, we saw we had the film itch and we bought that red. It's
Bought the red camera.
It's so
Guys,
unnecessary.
if anybody
spend
needs
that
to buy a
money.
red
It's like
camera,
a movie
please.
camera. That's literally for movies.
Yeah, we're not
was-
there yet.
What was shot on that?
The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
The red camera we have. We spent a ridiculous amount of money for absolutely no reason. I can't believe that I agreed.
We thought we were there yet.
Anyway,
Yeah.
back to you.
We thought it was gonna make us. We thought it was gonna make us look a little skinnier, but it didn't. Yeah.
Back to you, man. Let's get some questions.
So no,
going,
wait.
man.
So the 5,000, you put it into a deal. What kind of deal was this? Where did that lead to?
So it was a small deal. My dad actually had a lot of money tied
What's
up.
your dad's name, by the way? No,
David. My
David
dad's
Blank.
name is
Dave
David
Blank.
Blank. And
Why don't you give us a brief, rundown on who your pops is? Because the guy, I love your dad. The first time, so your dad does have a servant heart, right? I remember when I was going through some stress, and I said, "Hey, man, I need to get me and my family. We're going to Rocky Point. Do you know anybody over there?" Blah blah. He's like, "Oh, well, I happen to have a few condos down there, right?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, brother. Well, what do you got?" And then I ended up staying at one of you guys' condos, and it was absolutely amazing. It was beautiful. It was a 4-bedroom. I've never seen a 4-bedroom in Rocky Point, so that alone is crazy, right? Have you ever seen a 4-bedroom?
I have not.
I've seen a 2, maybe a 3, but not
Maybe
a 4.
a 3, like,
He
and that's
built
like the third one's
yeah.
not even a third.
he
Yeah.
redesigned the whole thing and put a
Exactly.
4th
So
bedroom.
your dad's an amazing man, Mr. David Blank. Why don't you tell us a little bit about his story and how that has impacted you?
So my dad, David, been in real estate since 2004. But really, this is more like he's 51, so this is his last push, and he wants to give something to his son. So he's been giving me his knowledge since I was born, giving me all his knowledge about real estate, and just pushing me to learn things about what he does, instead of me just playing video games. Wants me to put work in, taught me to work hard, and work for what I want in life, and just been teaching me, and now it's the point where it's time for him to give me something now that I'm old enough, and push with me.
Are you
for
his
this
only son?
last push. Yeah.
Are you his only son?
and a daughter. His daughter's going to, she's going to work for Deloitte, and she's becoming an accountant. So
That's
beautiful.
he's got good kids.
So I got a question for you, right? This wasn't something that your pops forced on you.
No.
Was it okay? Because that happens a lot, right?
This is good. So when we started getting into this, after we got the mentorship, we're like, oh no, we gotta go pedal to the metal. There's no turning back. I'd think to myself like, oh, this is like before I'd still work hard, less TV, whatever, but now it's like it's
Do you
done.
play video
No
games?
TV.
It's done. No video games.
Okay.
Video
Just wanted to
games,
make-
you get trapped in video games,
do.
and then you
Okay.
gotta
Sucked
finish
in,
the
yeah.
game, and then
17 years
So-
old, does not play video games, guys. And you ask yourself, why is he successful? And if you look at yourself and think why you're not, look into what you're doing. Look at your daily habits.
Boom.
The man does not, and I'm calling him a man because he is a man to me, even though he's under 18 years
Thank
old,
you.
because he carries himself as such. The man does not play video games. You said something so powerful, and I'm going to give the mic back to you. On our last call, you said you keep it under 1 hour of your entertainment a day, and your entertainment is what?
like Survivor or something like that.
Like
1
watching
hour
TV
a
of
day.
Survivor.
So like a show, like
Survivor?
a regular show that's like an hour long. Watch it, go to sleep,
Uh,
and then before then I'm just watching. Like once I get home from work, I'm watching you guys, watching other people to learn more, and it motivates me watching you guys, watching other people. It just motivates me. So then the next day, watch my TV, go to sleep. Next day, I'm all fired up because I watched these people for like 4 hours and learn more stuff that I can implement
I
in
love
my
it.
business.
That's amazing. So 95% of your time, I would say, is in investing in yourself, working on your craft, and generating money.
Yeah, 95%,
Guys,
90%.
I actually recently recommended, and you can ask Dave, what book did I recommend for you to read?
The Big Leap.
No,
No.
not that one. That's Alex. The Compound Effect.
Oh, I listened to the summary and now I'm going to read the full book. And I read The Secrets of
At
the
Hit
Millionaire
Millionaire
Mind.
Mind.
One
Beautiful.
day, listened to it in one day, Sunday.
What?
Sunday.
Wow, I didn't
Good day
even.
to-
We didn't do that.
That's
It
crazy.
took me a
Wow.
few
Did you go
weeks.
to bathrooms?
Yeah, I like took breaks, but it's easy. Knock it out on Sundays. Read a book.
Audible, yeah.
Listen to a
Jesus.
book on a
That's
Sunday.
my favorite book of all time.
Yeah,
by
it
the way,
was
Secrets of
really
the Millionaire
good.
Mind.
Really good.
I think that's a book that made us all like,
It shifted
You
our
adopt new
mindset.
beliefs.
Yeah.
So I want to say one thing about what you were saying about him getting me into this. Like he was saying, like, I'm sorry that I got you into this because now like it's all work. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, don't say sorry to me anymore. Don't say sorry to me. I want to do this.
wow.
And so
I can see where he's coming from as a dad, right? You know, because he's probably thinking like, oh man, my son is not gonna like have that young adulthood
Childhood.
experience, right? But the fact of the matter is, if he's receiving it, right? If he's accepting this, you're gonna live a much more fulfilled life. sooner than a lot of other people.
That's right.
And that's the one thing that, your father, because of his years of, experience, and that has given him wisdom, he saw that. He's like, you know what? Work now, play later. And when you
Absolutely.
play later,
It'll be
You're gonna
you
play.
play.
better. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like all these other, jabronis out here that are spending their entire paychecks on a weekend.
We have to give
You
you
know?
this as an
No
advice.
disrespect.
When you do become successful, don't let that. I mean, you're already successful, but bigger. Don't let that change who you are.
Right.
Because you're an amazing person. and
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Don't let that change.
Consume you.
Yeah. Don't let it consume you, because
Yes.
a lot of people start that journey and then they see something. It changes who they are just because of the money. So don't change that.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
Because it's also a trap.
It is a
Just
trap
like the
because-
video games,
bro,
that lifestyle is also a
Outwitting
trap.
the devil will tell you what kind of traps you can fall into, and they can start with small things. But your dad didn't choose to find someone, some new partner or some stranger that's already older or whatever. He decided to develop you to be the person you are, to carry his own legacy.
And that's
So-
also the thing about the partners. He had a bad partner, and it got $400,000 worth of his money stuck in a house.
Wow.
It's finally on the market now after a year and a half.
A house
And
that I wholesaled them.
I remember
Yeah.
that, yeah.
I wasn't even gonna mention that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I
So that's
wholesaled
how
them, so.
Alex came into my life. My dad got stuck with a bad
he
business
sold
partner.
your dad a bad deal?
No,
It was a
That's
great
good.
deal.
No, it
a
was a
good
great deal.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with Alex. Alex saved us. So what happened was, bad business partner. My dad tried to cut ties with the bad business partner. The bad business partner filed a list pendants on the house, saying that it was his, basically. And then lawyers, $5,000 to $10,000 a month lawyer fees. You guys know how expensive that is. $70,000
Yes, we do.
total spent on lawyers to get it free. And if it wasn't for Alex with the recording he had of the bad business partner backing out of the deal,
Yeah.
we would be screwed still.
Wow.
Thank God.
So our money's free. It's time to push. We lost 2 rounds, but now we're ready for the long haul.
Boom. I love
Nice.
the attitude, bro.
I love it.
All right, this is amazing.
So back to what I was saying, and people want to know what books. The books were The Big Leap, but most importantly, after reading this book, you did come to mind. At 17 years old, I want you to read this book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, because at your age, you can compound so much,
God.
right?
That's
It's ridiculous. By the time you're 20, 21 years old, 25 years old, like, you're going to be way ahead of
you're
where
gonna be
we
running
are.
laps.
Multiple
Running,
seven-figure portfolio.
God willing, God willing. And back to, you made me also think about that, because when you said, you had already told me that you only spend like an hour max, right? Like 5% of your time on entertainment. The Compound Effect talks about the E versus E ratio, which is the entertainment versus education ratio,
Wow.
and how you should be spending 80% plus on education, whether that's self-development or educating yourself on the business you're currently in, or mentorship, like you're doing now, and things like that.
That's why it's an hour now, because Amir a couple months ago was talking to me about the compounding effect. I was probably doing like 2 hours, 3 hours a day of entertainment a couple
He's
months
read that
ago.
book, Amir?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And he was telling me about how he was just ingraining in my mind, if I spend an hour a day, that's 365 hours a year, ingraining that type of stuff in my mind, so then I could focus more on how I'm using my time. And
Yeah.
That was a great advice.
even if I can relax and learn, why do I need to relax and watch stupid stuff? So
That's right.
It's no coincidence that you're here, financially. It's no coincidence. Like, obviously, everything that you've done throughout your life, and with the help of your father, obviously, that he developed these new habits in you.
And so this is the prime example, right? Of a lot of us entrepreneurs, you don't gotta have this story. You don't gotta have this story of sufferment,
Hurt and
right?
pain, yeah.
No, unfortunately, like 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs have to go through this much pain, right?
Because in order to shift your mind, you have to go through pain. But if someone is massaging your thoughts and they're bringing you up, so you're pretty much, your dad massaged your own pretty much imagination, or
There's
your
like-
your
Your
future.
programming.
Yeah, your programming.
there's
programming.
like 4 things why all of this is a reason. I was very sick for a long time, so I got mono twice. So I needed to get a lot of sleep. So going to school wasn't working. So then I dropped out, do online school, and that was for a reason. So I'm able to work. Another thing was a reason, meeting you because of that deal, and then that deal putting us in a bad place for a while, bringing my family down, really made me, Dad needs a business partner. My father needs a business partner. Why should it be anyone else but family? So.
Or you.
Yeah.
More importantly, or you,
Yeah.
you know?
Reason I met you, reason I do online, it's all set up for this.
That's amazing, by the way.
And that's why I
commend you
can't
for
give
that.
up my opportunity. That's why I'm like, when I'm saying like, when we got the mentorship, I'm like, oh no, this is a whole new life that I just stepped into. And I'm just like saying to myself, well, too bad, can't miss up this opportunity. This is meant to be.
That great deal turned into a bad deal, but turned into something magical, because it brought you
Be
into the
bigger
circle.
than anything.
On a macro level, it's a blessing. On a macro level, right? On a micro level, at first you were like, "Oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going on?" But on an overall big picture level, it's been a blessing to you, your father, and everybody else. You know. Quick question for you, because there's a lot of folks that are actually asking questions. Oh, by the way, Richard Blank said David Blank raised a champion. Is that your
Is
uncle?
that family?
Yeah, that's my uncle. You want me to tell about him a little? He's one of my mentors.
Yeah.
So my uncle owns a 300-seat call center in Costa Rica.
Wow.
And so he's very good at speaking. He knows how to get through to people, whether it's with tone, pausing before you speak, ways to tie in, etc. So he's been teaching me this a lot, so it's been getting me better at speaking. So therefore, when I'm on the phone and someone asks how old I am, or I'm on the call with them for 30 minutes, getting an appointment, and then I'm like, well, I'm going to come to your house now, so I need to tell you how old I am. So then I'm like, guess how old I am? And they say 20, 25. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm 17. And they're like, wow. And they love it. They laugh. They love it. It's crazy. You think people will look at you different when you're 17, but if you just carry yourself a certain way, that's all that matters. And so he's taught me a lot about how to speak with my tone, pausing, how to carry myself.
You have good people in your corner.
Yeah, like Mr.
Yeah.
Richard, great job.
Yeah, you guys have good. You have amazing people in your corner, and let me actually ask you a few questions. You know, a guy said, "Hey, you know, at the age of 17, like, what are some of the challenges that you run into in your business? Like, as a 17-year-old, what are some of the challenges that you face every day or every week, and how are you starting to overcome those challenges?"
Those challenges come with, so when you have an employee and you tell them
or
that
employees,
or a singular one that just doesn't look at you, that looks at you differently because your age, they really can't learn from you. They think they know more than you because you're older, but the amount of knowledge that I've taken in from you guys and everyone and YouTube, and there's so much knowledge on the internet to learn.
And your dad and Richard.
My dad,
and books.
Richard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know a lot, and everyone knows something different. So that's the thing. You got to be open. When an employee's not open to learning something different or hearing what you have to say because of your age, then it's not going to work out.
Well, age does not matter when it comes to success. I mean, you're a living example. So employees or team members should think like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so because of that challenge, how have you like almost set the authority when it comes?
How
to
do you
your
overcome
business?
that?
Yeah, how do you overcome that?
You realize it after a day at work. You're like, oh no, I'm upset about this. And then you come in the next day and you set the standard. Like, I'm the boss. Because when my dad's there, they think that he's the one, but he's not even on the LLC. It's all me. I'm the boss. I tell him what to do. So that's how I like set it. Like, I'm the boss. You come to me first.
So you set the tone.
Yeah. You have to come to both of us equally, not just, hey, David. It's
No,
got to be
absolutely,
me
yeah.
too.
I run this.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful.
And I'm
And-
sure he empowers you and gives you that seat of authority to let them know, hey, you know, you're talking to the wrong guy here,
right.
right?
Yeah.
You do that enough times.
He
and-
tells me, you're my boss all the time. Because
Yeah.
I'm the one pushing fast because I'm young. I have less fear than him because I haven't went through a lot of failures through my life. So I'm not afraid. I can just...
But you know the beautiful.
I
Go
just
ahead.
thought, I
go
just
ahead.
thought about
Yeah,
something.
go
So,
ahead.
well, I'm pretty sure it's different, but you said you haven't had a lot of failures. But one thing that I've done, and I know you've done the same thing, is you've learned through the mistakes and pains of other people, and sometimes that could have been your family. But I've saved myself a ton of headache and pain by learning through these guys and other people. Like, hey, that's not what I should do. That's not what I have to do.
And that's the thing.
It relieves you.
My mom's like worried that we're doing this at first, like spending so much money on this, and I'm like, this is really real. This is happening, because she's worried because of things that have happened with him, with different business ventures. And I tell her I've watched him my whole life. So these things are ingrained deep in my brain, what to look out for, what not to do, and he knows them on it. He wears them on his sleeve. Yeah. These bad things that have happened, and so the likelihood of bad things happening are
for you, absolutely
slimmer.
For you, absolutely.
Because I've watched it, and he wears it on his sleeve, scared of it, and so I tell my mom it's okay. Like, I'm gonna make sure we're all right.
And if you think about it, Jake, forget the fact that we've been helping you guys, and you took on this mentorship, venture with us, right? You had amazing ventures already. I'm sorry, amazing mentors already through your dad and your uncle. You know what I mean? So that tells you, at your age, that has been a very, very powerful impact. That's made a very powerful impact on your age, because you are learning from everybody's mistakes, right?
And I'm coming to realize now that that hearing about stuff, like, you're not realizing it as it's happening as you're growing up because you're younger. But then once you get to like around my age, you realize, oh, this is why he did this. This is why he did that.
It was for you.
Yeah.
Everything happened for you. Before we jump to the next question, I want to ask you something. Before you joined the mentorship, when you joined the mentorship, which I can, your dad did something amazing. He made you do what?
So I made 10,000 from that flip, saved 5, put 5,000 into the mentorship.
So he made you put skin in the game. So you can learn better.
Yeah.
I mean, so your dad continues.
When people pay.
Yeah, when people pay, they pay attention.
That's the thing. This is happening.
Your dad could have paid it for you, but he made you put some skin.
And there's no going back. The money's in. There's no going back.
I like that.
What do you?
That's what you have to do to yourself too. You need to invest, and then no going back.
Challenge
do whatever
yourself.
you
Friend the
can
boats.
to make it happen.
Let me ask you this: if you didn't invest, do you feel like you would have had the same commitment? It's hard to think about.
I would have had the same commitment, but it wouldn't be as real.
As rewarding.
As real.
You have skin.
Feels better when you're in on it. Otherwise, who am I? I'm just his son. I have money in. I'm really doing this. I own it with him. No money in.
I like what David's
son,
doing with him.
I like that, yeah.
And that's a lesson for me as a dad.
It's very strong.
It's amazing, man.
I know he could have afforded it, but
the last thing you want to do as a father is just make it so easy for them that they don't even want it.
Well, life is not easy.
It.
If we make life easy for them, then we're teaching them the wrong lessons in life. Life is not easy.
Not at all.
Life is not rainbows and butterflies.
Well, and he was saying earlier, he said, I've seen my dad go up and down, up and down. Like, you're absolutely right. But God willing, as dads, you want to make it easier for your son.
For certain things.
Right? Yeah, but you're right. You want to save them from the heartaches or, the hardships. But you also want to make sure you challenge them in the right areas.
It's like saying, I've seen this when parents don't let the son fall. It's like, no, it's okay. When he falls and gets, he won't do it.
He won't do it again, yeah.
I want to say something to the people. So when hardships happen, that's a turning point. Like, you can focus on, this is going to go back up. It's just like a graph, down, up. You're going to break away and do better than you have done before. And so me being sick, having to do online was for a reason, for an up. Him getting in this bad property with a bad business partner was a down, for a up. It all just goes back up. So
I'm glad you see things that way.
Let's and that's another thing.
I want to ask one question because this is it's on the topic. What drives Jacob Blank?
What drives Jacob Blank?
Yes.
Well, family. We weren't doing that well when all this happened. So I wanted to work with my dad as his business partner because he just lost one that, thank God, he got rid of, but was not good for us. And I wanted to be his business partner and start killing it. Like, that deal just brought us all negative. Like, he was still doing fine, but a lot of money's tied up. it's just really negative.
Did it bring stress upon your family?
Yeah, terrible stress. My parents were separated for 3 months. My dad was living in the flip we did together on a mattress on cinder blocks.
Wow.
And so I spent every day with him there doing the work, and I had him see my mom's point of view, my mom see his point of view, and I wound up closing my first real estate deal and bringing my family back together.
Wow.
So double rewarding.
This is great. So your family drives you, but this is crazy. I did not think it's this deep.
Yeah, that's. I could just say it's my family for them, but I know it. I know it is because of what I've done in real estate. That shows that it was for them and it was meant for a reason.
Wow.
So there was definitely pain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when the pain is strong enough, right?
People change.
Yeah. People change, and that's what we were saying earlier. Like the fact that your dad didn't make it so easy and painless, you know, it has catapulted you into this direction.
Now it's time to kill it.
I can tell that those moments really hurt you.
Yeah.
They did.
No, that was the worst time of my life recently.
Wow.
So in the moments of like the biggest pain, like become the biggest turnaround.
That was the worst, and it's not that long ago. It's just getting on the market now. Worst time of my life, and now this feels like it's gonna, like I have no doubt this is gonna be greatness.
Let me ask you
Greatness
this:
is about to come.
Would you ever go back to that moment?
Back to that moment?
Yeah. The answer is no, right?
So
that's why
I think the moment was everything that happened the way it was supposed to.
No,
so.
My point is, you would never go back to the moment. That's where the drive comes.
That's
because
where the
you're
drive
like,
comes.
you know what?
That's
Forget that.
again.
I will never experience that again. I'm going to do everything in my ability
to not let
that happen again. Yeah.
Sounds like you've been through it.
It sounds like we've all been through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, it seems like it's a burden on our life, but connecting, you can't connect the dots looking forward, but hindsight you can. And
ramen noodles can only taste so good for so long.
I've never looked back this year.
I've never heard that one. But.
This year, I've never looked back and seen so many things connect the way they're supposed to.
It's kind of all happening so fluidly, right?
It's
almost
blowing my mind.
effortless. Yeah.
It's blowing my mind. Like everything is for a reason.
Let us give you an advice while you're on this, because you're thinking it, and I think all of us can attest to this. Let it flow the way it is, and don't try to interrupt it with any worldly things, because the minute God is blessing you and your family right now, and you're like an anomaly. You're 17 years old and you're doing this, so keep receiving the blessings and let it flow the way it is. Do not try to interfere with it with any bad habits. That is the one advice I can give you, because I've seen this with people who are close to my life, and it hurts to see, because when it's too late, you can't explain to them like, yo, this is like, hey, how about you read the book? How about you? They won't see eye to eye with you because it's past, like it's already too late. So don't let those moments pass you by.
Right.
So real quick, before we get into breaking down your business operation, I just want to engage with our audience now. We've had a steady 110, 120 people.
Beautiful.
Can you guys please show him some love, show him some hearts before we get into his business structure, his entire operation? Please show this man some love and some hearts.
Yeah, my manager in Mexico is on here.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So, guys, if you guys do appreciate, this young man coming onto our podcast and sharing his story at such an early age, show him some love, show him some hearts, and let him know that you appreciate this and how he's serving and what he's doing for a lot of people.
You guys can do anything you put your mind to. I'm 17. As long as you take action, then anything's possible. If you're just sitting there thinking about it, why not get up and do one thing? And then you'll realize, oh, that one thing put me here. Now let me do this, and this. And now look where you are.
You need to read the compound effect.
Can I ask you a question?
That's what the compound effect is all about.
Can I ask you a question? Right now, we're focused on every win that you've made in your life. But I'm sure that you've made a mistake here and there.
Oh, yeah.
What are the mistakes? Because even though you've made mistakes, you're still at 17 killing it, crushing it. What are the mistakes that you've done that you wouldn't do again, and you would advise the audience not to do?
In my business?
In your business, your personal life, both.
Your long life.
Yeah, that's why it's hard, because it's really not.
Yeah. It could be one thing. It does not matter, because that one thing could be happening in someone's life right now.
I think majority. Why you think about that? I think majority of you've learned a lot through other people's mistakes, which necessarily you've seen it, it's hurt you, but you've learned through that and like just maneuvered your way.
Well,
around
I'm a
things.
kid, right? At the end of the day,
You're not a
I'm
kid, you're
still
a
a
man.
kid. I'm a man, but I'm still a young
man.
A young man. So it's like mistakes, getting in trouble at school, stuff like that. But with my business, the only thing, I don't think I made mistakes. I got the mentorship. What I'd say for people is follow someone and have them teach you. Get knowledge from people. Don't waste your time trying to do it yourself.
Wow.
You need to follow in the footsteps of other people. So
like
that's
that.
why I think I have no mistakes so far.
That's
Barely
amazing.
any.
Knock on
that's a
wood, man.
blessing.
Yeah,
I truly,
that is amazing.
You know what though? That's a life hack that you figured out really early in
Very early.
17.
People don't even know what mentorship is at 7 years
we've
old.
all invested money. Like right now I currently have a spiritual mentor. He has a spiritual mentor. Sal's he's gonna take on a new journey with the spiritual mentor, and that's the spiritual side, right? We also want to also hire. Actually, we currently now have a billionaire mentor that's helping us do some things, right? So you're absolutely correct. But I mean, it took us how long to figure this out? No, you kind of did it at an earlier age, maybe not.
I was like 19 when I was like,
See?
oh crap, I can avoid mistakes by having other people help me.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
I feel like I hit the lottery and you hit it way earlier.
It's crazy. I'll tell you how powerful mentorship is, right? So we have this billionaire mentor now that is trying to help us, and we're about to buy a $2 million commercial building, and he gets on the phone with us and says, "Okay, let's run the numbers." Well, it's not a great buy, but yeah, it's okay. You know?
Because we trust him. Like the guy was so full of knowledge. He was so fluid when he said,
it was second nature to him.
yeah, and we were like bending our back, like, oh my God, are we gonna do this? We're not gonna do this. The numbers doesn't seem right. Why is this happening? This, and that, back and forth between all three of us. We get on the phone with him within the first like 3 minutes. Well, based on this circumstance, based on that, based on what I see, I think you should do it. And he analyzed it in his own way, and boom, we're like, and literally
Because
after
you gave him all the circumstances,
everything,
Right?
given.
Like, we're moving out of this building, we're gonna have to pay rent over here, and after giving him all the facts, it was an easy decision for him.
And then as soon as we hung up, sent a message, let's go do it.
That's the beautiful part about mentorship.
The people around you, even it just goes down to networking too. The people around you that have knowledge about what you're doing is one of your most important resources.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick, Christo's asking, what are your goals besides your business, school, mentoring others, or charities? Like, what are some of your goals here? And let's just say, you know what? Let's go short, right? Let's go to 2020. Like, what are your goals for 2020?
2020.
Ideally, what are your goals for 2020?
I want to do $1 million in gross revenue by my birthday, June 11th. So
Boom.
then $1 million I'm 17. And then goals like charities. No charities in mind except charity to the people that work for me in Mexico. They've been deported and their stories are incredible. It's incredibly sad what they've gone through, and it feels so good for me to be able to give them another opportunity that's worth something to them and to me. Because they can't. It's hard to get a job that pays well there. It's nothing. They were here, so they were making good money, minimum wage here, and now
Lifestyle
they're
is completely different.
now they're like, I can barely afford to take care of my kid, and so if I can give them these bonuses, if they get me something good, then that makes their whole week. It puts food on the table for them, or it makes them get a special dinner for their kid instead of going to the one Burger King in town every night for dinner. So,
have you like sat back and realized the impact that really is? Like how people are.
So I filmed, like I posted this on my Instagram. I filmed when we were there a couple weeks ago, and we were passing out bonuses. And then while I'm looking back at it, she's crossing her heart and praying to us, like, thank you so much. And I'm looking at that.
That's
I
amazing.
watched it 30 times. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't notice this. I'm like, Dad, do you see this? And I was so touched. It made me feel so good. That night I went home after I edited the video and I watched it over and over. When you're editing, you watch it over and over, and it's ingrained in my mind, her doing it. Like, so blessed that we gave her that bonus.
That is a very grateful
And I get home, I
person.
send the group chat with all my agents a long paragraph how thankful I am for them and this opportunity to help them out, and that they have a really good opportunity with us, and it feels amazing.
Did that moment
Wow.
feel like this is bigger than you?
Way bigger than me. Big time.
Wow.
And my dad's always talking about how we want to help people down there that are our friends. And it's true. It's not expensive for us to pay them more than what the normal pay is down there. It's still good for us, and now we're helping them out.
By the
So,
way,
it feels great.
the moment you realize everything, like things are bigger than you, that's the moment your life changes, because you start operating with a whole different mindset. Because now you know you're not just responsible for yourself or the immediate ones. There is so much, like it becomes like a wide angle.
And they're doing things for me. They're going 110% for me, and it feels good that I'm going for them too.
That's amazing.
Giving them a good opportunity. So it's
good-
way bigger than
This
me.
is a really good question for you, by the way. Kwame says, how do you get a mentor without the money to pay them? I'll answer mine first. First and foremost, before you, I'll give you an example, right? If you're trying to get into wholesaling, you know, and not to sound salesy here, but go grab the learntowholesale.com course. Learntowholesale.com, right? Why? It's like 50% off or something right now. So before you even try to acquire someone's time, make sure that you're even equipped, right? Equipped to be able to actually,
Receive, yeah.
receive and go after this person. Second, so knowledge is one thing. Second is servanthood. Offer to serve in some way, shape, or form.
And
That's the only way you can pay.
need to, like you said, you should know before you try to get someone's knowledge, because I get DMs all the time where people are asking questions that are kind of silly, in my opinion, and it's like I have so many people
Well,
trying
it takes
to get
away
knowledge
from
from
your
me.
time and
And if they were
everything you're doing.
prepared, like a lot of people, I help them out, but they were prepared with their questions, like what they want to ask, and they know what they're talking about. That's why if the question's silly, I'm not going to give it any of my time. That's why a course is a good starting investment.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any money, I didn't get a course. I didn't get anything for 2 months for more than 2 months. When I was really focusing 2 months, writing stuff down, notebook. But for 6 months, I was learning about it just from YouTube. And there's so much on YouTube to watch.
And there's no excuse where someone says that. I mean, there is always ways to make extra money.
Right.
If there is a will, you can. There is always a way.
If I'm 17, I could probably afford a course when I was 14, 15, easily. So that's the thing. There's ways to start.
There is always a way. I truly feel like that. There's always a way to save extra money, or to have like extra play money or whatever education money that you want
just have to take this step to get a course, get something, get into it. You must take a step. Otherwise,
A lot of ways to start,
Yeah.
but so many excuses.
Mr. Jacob, would you explain or describe your organization today?
Okay, so, I have 12 employees total. I have 2 acquisition guys, 1 in-house realtor to deal with the retail leads. I have 6 agents, 2 in the Philippines, 4 in Mexico.
When you agents, you mean by
Cold callers.
Cold calling agents,
virtual
okay?
assistants, cold callers.
And then I have 1 virtual assistant that she's doing Craigslist right now, SEO for our website. She pulls all the data for us, organizes it, uses your macros, which I wouldn't have got my first absentee deal if I didn't use the macros, because I wasn't scratching the surface.
That's amazing.
I'm glad.
1 agent manager in Mexico, and he actually makes sure the Philippines is running, but then I also have a Philippines manager. And so 12 total employees. So I'm sitting here, my business is running without me being there. And I'm
Amazing.
17 with a running
True
business.
CEO.
Let's go.
See, that's the difference between a hustler and a CEO. We were all hustlers.
Everybody starts as a hustler.
What do you say the transition was? It was like
Hustler, business owner,
and
CEO, successful business owner.
No.
We actually did 1.6 million dials so far this month. So we're really pushing on the cold calling.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So
I like how he has.
I like how you know your
everything right now.
numbers.
Yeah.
yeah.
I like how you know your numbers. Okay, so all right. Thank you for breaking down your business. By the way, I love that. I love that. And let's see here. I have a few more. There's a lot of questions.
I have a
Go ahead.
question.
I'll
What
find
does
another
what does
question.
your marketing look like right now?
Marketing looks like cold calling mainly. 6 agents. We have 500,000 records in our dialer.
What dialer are you using?
ZenCall. Allindialer.com to get cheaper. Good deal. And just cold calling for now, but we're going to do SMS soon. It's more right now we're working on getting the right people in the office to handle the leads before we turn it up. And we know cold calling works, so we've really put our time into it. I got partners with half a center in Mexico so I could work on the front end of the funnel and really know exactly what's coming in and make them better. And so cold calling, I feel like I've fully delegated it and mastered it.
It's amazing.
To the best that I could to have a grasp on it where I can manipulate it to do the best for me.
Absolutely.
So
Question for you. Justin Harrison wants to ask you, if you were starting out today, what steps would you take to get to where you are now, Jacob?
if I was starting out today, and how much money do you have?
That's a good. Justin,
$500.
$500.
Good question, Justin. If you don't mind sharing, how much you have in reserves to actually start heading into
But
this venture.
let's say $500 or
Yeah.
500 to $1,000 because
500.
that's an attainable number. Let's work with
Sell
that.
your Xbox, sell your Jordan, sell your
Okay,
shoes, your
$1,000
belts, like
bucks.
500,000 bucks, $1,000 bucks.
Okay, $1,000. Get your course. Number one. That's how you must start because it lays it out in order. You
So
can't.
get the course.
You can't just watch YouTube and get it laid out in order.
That's the issue.
So
yeah.
get the course. Watch a ton of YouTube. This is how I started. So get a dialer, ZenCall or Mojo if you can't figure out ZenCall, but Mojo is not good. But still, get a dialer. Get 20,000 records. 20,000 records. Spend a month. Well, if you only have 3 hours a day because you have another job, take you like a month to dial through them. Get through them. Get some leads. Do the follow-up. Try to get a deal. If not, get 20,000 more leads. Another month. You're going to get a deal. You need to make the calls yourself first so you know how to talk to homeowners.
You have to be in the trenches first.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can't teach someone how to do it.
I
so.
love that.
And
I was just
otherwise, I
yesterday-
wouldn't be able to talk. Like, unless I did that.
Yeah.
If you actually, know the business.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And now you can't teach if you don't know how you do it yourself.
Yeah.
I hate when people say, no, I'm just going to hire someone, they know how to do it. They can take over your business overnight.
Right.
Someone asked a question over here. Ariel, she said, if you're closing 1 to 2 deals a month, what would you do to scale
What would you do to scale?
from 1 to 2 deals?
So that's an easy question, by the way, because you know what? Ariel asked that, and Justin, I believe they're husband and wife. They're doing 1 to 2 deals a month, and Justin just said, my wife and I are at deal number 7. We started with around 2,000 into the business. So, being where they're at, what would you do if you were in their shoes to scale? I know what I would do. I'm gonna let you answer first. I know what you guys
we'll
would do.
answer you.
Yep.
What marketing is she doing though?
I think it's you're thinking about it too detailed.
Too detailed. So it's this is not rocket science, this business. So more leads, more deals. So and then it goes down to the second level with your acquisition guys. More calls, more offers, more deals.
That's right.
So you're just at the point where you need to turn it up. Turn up the lead volume, and then you'll be producing more, and also put people in place. If it's just you and your husband, you need to put people in place now so you can turn it up. Because I can't do it. I was going crazy doing everything.
You guys, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You guys dealt with that issue. You guys turned on the marketing, and you got all these leads coming in, and then what happened?
We're on the Zoom calls like, oh my God, we're swamped, we're drowning. and we're trying to get an office. We're in a mad rush to get an office and hire so we can handle it. And we're so stressed out, and then by the time we get the office, we have 150 untouched leads, around
my
150
God.
untouched leads. So that's how behind and swamped we were getting. And so now that once you get an office, once you get people, now I can be here like this. I can go to Mexico and spend time with my agents. It frees you up, and you have people getting the deals for you. So if you don't have an office, don't have people, get an office, get people, turn up the lead volume, and then you'll scale.
You know, at 17, I have a question for you
amazing.
also. At 17, how important has it been to actually have an office?
Having an office. Let's see. Having an office, well, like I was on the Zoom call with you guys. So I need someone to work for me, right? We're swamped. And I'm like, can they start at my house? And they're like, no.
No way.
No way.
So
No.
without an office, you can't have people working for you.
What has that done to you as a person, as an entrepreneur? Having an office,
As a 17-year-old.
having headquarters where you go there and it's showtime.
It makes you feel like you have something real. It makes you feel like you're running a giant business. And so that's where you're accountable to keep it going. And it makes you feel like, okay, this is running now. What can I do next? And it makes it real. When you're sitting at home doing it, it's not like a business. It makes it a real business when you have an office, when you have a center, when you have whatever. Something that you pay rent for, that you go to, you work, and you have people there doing stuff for you. So
Amazing.
Makes it real. Yeah. Makes you realize that it's not just a fluff of a business. It's actually something that you have to, like, I mean, whether you close any deals or not, you still have to pay rent next month.
You never run out of things to do when you're in an office.
no.
There's always something
when
to
you're
do.
home, you always run out of things to do.
And that's the thing. The first week we get in the office, we're staying there till like 11, 12. And then
I remember those days,
yeah, I remember
right?
those, yeah.
And then I got sick, and I'm like, okay, we need to take care of ourselves a little bit more now that we have it set up. People are doing their thing, and now we're trying to take care of ourselves a little more, go home, learn more,
Yeah.
take notes on what we want to do, and instead of just staying at the office and killing ourselves by staying there till so late and then barely getting to sleep early enough and waking up early. So once you get to a certain point, try to take care of yourself. But at the beginning, you kind of want to just push as
Put
hard
in the
as
work,
you
yeah.
can.
What advice do you have for other, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds? What advice would you have for them right now?
So if you're watching this and you're like, how is this even possible? I'm just playing games, whatever.
You know what they're doing, huh? 'Cause
Yeah.
we're like,
Yeah.
that's what I was doing.
You're never too young to do anything. What says that you're too young?
Nothing.
Anyone know? Nothing. Nothing says you're too young. Nothing says you're too old. So it goes both ways. Do whatever you want.
Or no one.
Right, no one. Do whatever you want, put your mind to whatever you want, and take action. If you don't do anything about it, then it will be nothing. Where's video games going to get you?
It's wasting your time.
Virtual friends?
An achievement.
Virtual friends. I had virtual friends, and then Grand Theft Auto switched to the new PlayStation, and
Well,
I lost all my
now
friends
you have new
on
virtual friends,
virtual.
your co-callers.
Yeah. So now I have new virtual
And
friends
these
that help
virtual
me
make
friends
money.
may help you make
They
money.
help you make money,
right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
games won't get you anywhere. You need to, if you're actually interested in making something for yourself, then go for it.
What about chasing women?
Chasing women.
At 17, I mean, I know I had my fair share of
That's-
chasing women.
It's the problem now. Like, I still have to be a kid, and so I have to hang out with friends, keep my friends, because if I don't hang out with them, people, when they're not in contact, they disappear.
They tend
So
to disappear.
it's a battle.
Are you actively
With that.
chasing women now as a 17-year-old?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, okay, you are.
But
So how do you control that part of your life?
there's no women right now because I'm too focused.
You're
Like,
too
So you're not
focused.
chasing.
I don't have time. I am, sure.
Wait,
Someone
what?
comes-
I'm really
So-
confused.
so-
He's receptive to it. but
So
not
someone
chasing.
comes in my life, sure, but like
I see,
I'm
I see.
not
So you're
putting
not?
that.
Are you not going on dates? Like, are you going on dates to your office? Like, what's happening?
No, I'm working hard.
Candlelight dinner
I-
at the office?
I don't even talk to my friends during the week. I went to a party last night, but the thing is, forget that.
Oh, you didn't want to mention that.
Okay, the thing is, so I don't talk to anyone like at all. I talk to them for like my friends, girls, 10 minutes
Just catching
before I
up.
go to sleep,
Yeah.
catch up. And then once it gets to Friday, I'm texting everyone like, what are you doing? So I don't miss out on whatever they're doing, so I can catch up on the weekend with them and stay friends.
See, I was
It's
gonna
like-
give you some advice, but that would completely just get rid of all your, your habits that you have going on right now with your friends, if that's what works for you. I was actually gonna say, why don't you try to read 15 to 30 minutes before you go to sleep? That's what I do. it really calms me down, and it actually makes me sleepy, right? And I'm taking notes,
Listen
the
or
copy and paste.
read?
Well, what I do with the Kindle, remember I told you? With the
app,
Kindle, it reads it for me, so it's visual and audio too. And then what I do is when I see something, oh my God, that's crazy, I copy and then I paste in my notes.
Yeah.
You get it? So again, I don't want you to completely get rid of your social life as a 17-year-old,
That
but
can't happen.
maybe
No,
you
that's
talk
the
to them
battle.
and then maybe you fit them in, depending on where they are as priorities. But I would try to read. When do you do your reading now?
Sundays. I just started reading, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Because
do-
the last Zoom call, I'm like, you told me to read, and then we were getting off, and I'm like, Sal, how important is reading? You're like, so important. I'm like, okay.
What book?
He's giving me his book to read.
What book are you reading now?
I'm reading what's a Leap of Joy.
The new one. That's after.
So it's
Big
the
Leap.
Big Leap and Leap of Joy.
Mr.
And then
Sal?
I'm reading Rework.
What are you reading?
I'm reading Hyper Performer.
So how many people in this world do you think hate reading? 50%?
Well, I think we all did at one
I
point.
think
All did at
I
one point.
the only
Until you
books
get
I read
addicted
was
to
books
it,
that I had
yeah.
to write essays on, like
Right,
during
at school.
my childhood, and
Right,
then
and I hated it.
But then when I realized that a book can, number one, better my personal life, better my clarity, and better my business, I'm like, this is a cheat code. You should see my book collection now.
Yeah.
We're moving offices right now. It's like there's a few grand of books in there.
And I have ADHD, so I hate reading a book. But just
It'll
try,
actually help that.
But if you listen,
try
to,
listening.
Yeah.
Just
Why
anyone
don't
who
you try
hates
doing
reading,
both?
try listening.
Do
Yeah.
the remember with
I'm
the
gonna look on the
Kindle
app
and
that I have.
just look at it. You don't have to read.
Yeah.
Just look at it and then
I have
listen to it.
I have a cool method that I do with my book. So I'm reading a book a week, and what I do, I read like the hard copies, unless I'm like on a plane, I'll audible it. But I'll do a hard copy, and then I'll highlight it, and I'll highlight things that hit me like, oh shoot, like this is something I can implement. This is something that I could share with others, and I highlight it. And then at the end of every book, I have like this entire book of just highlights. And now, like if I want to revisit that book, I don't have to reread the book. I just go over my highlights.
It's amazing.
Wow.
So
is
that way it's like
amazing.
because
that's a great hack.
because sometimes like it's like I don't even know the saying, but it's like fear the man that can punch the same spot. What is that saying?
Don't read a book. Don't read 10 books one time. Read one book 10 times.
Yeah. So for me, it's like if I don't want to like I read Untethered Soul, which is a spiritual book, and like that book, I don't want to reread it from start to finish. I just want to go over my highlights. So then I move on to the next one.
One of my acquisition guys was showing me a book that he read the other day. I forget what it's called. It's like something about the key to rental properties or
Yeah.
real estate investment properties, and it's all highlighted. So I'm
Bless you,
like,
bless
can
you.
I read
Thank
that so I can just read the highlights like you were just saying?
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Summary.
Quick question. Sam Meters says, question for all of you, and we'll start with you first. How much negativity did you face when chasing your dreams in real estate? I've had the people closest to me tell me I'm crazy, yell at me, telling me I've changed and I'm living in a fairy tale. That negativity is motivating me to want to make this work. They feel this way because this path is something completely different than what is taught in society today. Did you have any of that? And if so, how did you approach it? Absolutely, right?
So
Let's start with you.
So negativity and how do you approach it?
How do you approach it? Non-believers,
I'm
doubters.
sure there's doubters and non-believers that I haven't heard anything from them, like from my social media, but all I've gotten is DMs from my friends or my friends telling me, wow, you're doing a great job.
That's good.
And then, but my grandma, she I became like so confident about this once I started learning, and I haven't talked to her about it before, and we were driving to Mexico. I was telling her, like, I'm doing this, I'm going to have a giant business, all this stuff, like being so confident, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to college because I'm going to make this happen, and she's like shaking her head, and I'm like, it's okay because I'll prove it right, and now she's so proud because I've shown her that we're
proof,
really
yeah.
putting it together.
I know you have a lot of input when it comes to this area, Sal. And just know, like, let me ask you this question: what did your grandma do for a living? Now she just exists. I get it. You know, she's old and everything, but and she just gets praised and But what did your grandma?
She paid
do?
her dues.
Yeah. What did your grandma?
That's because our grandmas are the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you saw my 93-year-old grandma just show up in a wheelchair over the weekend, right?
She was a real estate agent for my dad.
It's in your blood.
Yeah.
So
it
she
is
was
in
a
my
real
blood.
estate
awesome.
agent for your dad.
Yes.
Did she go to college?
Yeah. But
Did she use her degree?
No.
Okay. You need to take those facts into consideration
One more
when
fact
taking
about
advice
that.
from people.
My my mom's dad, he painted Epcot and had a giant painting business. He painted Epcot and never went to college. And right when he was 18, started his own business and wound up painting Epcot and
I don't know
doing,
what Epcot is.
Epcot,
Disneyland.
Epcot.
Wow.
I have
Okay.
no
wow.
clue. Okay.
What
Disneyland.
else? What else did he paint? All the casinos in Atlantic City, and
That is insane.
and he had one of the first water parks too, where there's concrete slides and people would slide down and like
Wow.
fall off the mat and skid.
So you
but-
come from a family
yeah.
of entrepreneurs.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
It is in your blood.
movers and shakers coming up with ideas and
First of all, I don't want to put in too much because we've talked about this, but I do want to put one thing. He said, I want to work so hard so I can prove them wrong. What was that gentleman's name?
yeah.
His name is Mr. Sam Meters.
Mr. Sam, my advice to you is do not operate from something negative. To prove someone wrong is like operate from somewhere negative.
Right.
You want to operate from something positive. Prove yourself right rather than working on proving someone's wrong.
Yep, love
and
that.
and that's it's it comes in a very genuine way that way. And if they're happy for you right there and then, if they were proven wrong, whatever it is, then great. But you're proving yourself right at the end of the day.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Who matters
Agreed.
but you and family?
Yeah.
Those are the only people that will be
Well,
with you.
you got to be careful though, because sometimes family could be your toughest critics.
That's true
And,
too.
and you know what though? That's not their fault.
No,
they're
it's
just they love you and they're only trying to help you by giving you advice that they think is best.
The best way they know.
And
Exactly.
who's there for you when it comes down to it? Family and yourself. So prove yourself right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
don't
I
need
would
to
consider
prove any.
this family.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I consider.
I
want to
do. We have to wrap up soon. But I want to do something for Jacob, and I've been in real estate for 4 years, 4.5 years, 4 years I think now.
Same.
Likewise
Same.
with you guys, we've encountered a lot of mistakes and troubles during that process. Like starting with let's go with Sal first.
Yes.
What can we? It's like what I'm trying to do is like if you're speaking to yourself 4 years ago, like, hey Sal, don't make this mistake, this mistake, this mistake. What would that be? And in this case, you're telling Jacob that because he's starting his
Absolutely.
journey.
I would tell my old self. I've always said those two things. I can add a third one, but the two things is don't ever get consumed by partying, because I did have my fair share of partying because I wanted to be out of my system, because I was being that frugal guy that didn't do much. My friends went to like hookah lounges, bars, and this and that, just regular, even 18 years old or whatever, underage, like little clubs or hangouts or house parties. I missed on those, and when I had the opportunity and I had the money, I just went ham, right? And I think that took away, if it was a year and a half, that took a lot away. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. Do it, in moderation. I did not do it in moderation.
Right.
I think Carlos can attest to that.
Yep.
That's number one.
You may not see that now, but when you're 21, it's like it's definitely a challenge for sure. So that's really good. I love
Number
that.
two, because I was in the car industry and I thought I knew it all. That was a big mistake. Like young Sal thought he knew it all about the car dealership, and now I can relate this to the real estate. If I invested in education in the car industry, I would have owned multiple car dealerships. Would they still be running while I'm not there? But I did not do that. So I would invest into my education more and ask the experts. Don't think that you're the expert. And I think you're already there, but that's what I would tell my old self. Number three, which is I felt guilty, even though I knew what I was doing, but I felt a little bit guilty for not going to school. I told my family I would go back to school after I do my thing, which I knew I wasn't going back. But I felt guilty by doing that. But I don't think I should have felt guilty. I think I should have been proud into what I was doing right there and then.
So last question for you. Oh, by the way,
Thank you.
Well, no, we'll say your input.
just to briefly go over, to answer that question about negativity, that's going to come with the territory, guys. And this is why, entrepreneurship and massive success is only for the rare few. Maybe 3% of the world.
That's why
maybe,
now the whole world is entrepreneurs.
Maybe
They would
1% of the world, right?
If everybody was an entrepreneur, where would the world be?
There wouldn't be, it wouldn't function the way it does now, right? Like you wouldn't even have a guy serving your food, when you go to a restaurant. So, I just want to tell you this. I got a lot of backlash from friends, from family, and a lot of my family. It wasn't that they didn't believe in me; they were just trying to protect me, because that's all they knew. Take into consideration my father-in-law. My father-in-law, who's been at the same job, City of Phoenix, for 20 plus years. I think it might be 30 years. He's like, no, don't quit your job. You have health benefits. You have a retirement plan. You have a daughter. You have a mortgage, blah, 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 He's not telling me this to crush my dreams. He's just trying to protect me.
That's right. Yeah.
But I also, even though I love him, and you know what? I will take advice from him as a father, as a grandfather, you know what I'm saying? But as a businessman, I can't because, he's been at the same job and nothing wrong. He was a great provider for his family. He still is. But I'm choosing to not go in that direction, so I cannot seek his counsel when it comes to that specific area of my life. So you have to take those things into consideration.
You don't ask a plumber about carpenting.
All right,
Absolutely.
I've been kind of dealing with that too, so that's
okay.
great.
Well, then you have to consider the source, right?
Right.
And then that's the last question is somebody asked you specifically where what here. God, I'm finding it. I've just been trying to answer as many questions. Do you have any people that you admire and plan on working with in the near future, Cristo Arenas? Do you have any people that you admire and you plan on working with them in the near future?
In
You're
mine,
17 years old.
Donovan Ruffin. Is that how I say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
The momentum speech, crazy. 4 million in revenue in a year, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I
Yeah,
met him for like a second, but I really want to sit down and talk to him.
Amazing
for a while.
guy.
We'll make that
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
He was, we just saw him. He was just at my wedding. So, the guy's a great guy.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well,
Other
I
than
think,
that, nothing in mind. But
okay. Well, guys, there's a lot of questions still coming, but reach out to my man. Did you put his Instagram on there?
Yeah, Jacob, where can they find you?
Yeah,
Follow
where can they find you? We're gonna put it on the screen for them also, so they
follow
can find
me
you and
at
reach out.
Jacob blank _ and blank spelled like a blank piece of paper. And guys, just
David always says that too. Right?
I'm 17. There's no excuses for you. Make it happen. Do something
Look
today.
at that camera.
Do something today that changes your future. Take steps towards your future and make something happen. Every day you can do something that progresses you forward. So there's no excuses. You're looking at proof. So thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for being here.
Brother, thank you so much, man.
Jacob,
Continue to
Thank
crush
you.
it. Continue to
Thank
kill
you.
it. And guys, community, all in nation, that is episode 35. We absolutely love you. And thank you so much for allowing us to serve you the way that we do. Thank you.